All right, ladies and gentlemen, fight fans all around the world, we're going to talk some boxing. I am what you need. And unfortunately, my live stream still did not produce video. It's a problem with my phone. It's nothing to do with YouTube. It's my phone that has a problem. Seems as though I had a lot of memory on my phone that was used up, and it took down some features, and I have to find the program or software that will restore those features. Okay, so that's all that's going on right there. So sorry about that, guys, but we'll get things restored in time. Don't worry, we'll get things restored in time. So I'm doing a little workout here. I'll show you guys around. Doing a little workout here while talking a little bit of boxing with you guys, so I don't waste my time. I was actually doing the same workout here while I was shooting the live stream, but until I can get that audio situation fixed on the live stream, we're gonna have to use these videos. So this video obviously is about Mikey Garcia versus Ivan Redkach, and I already did not watch. I didn't watch that fight live at all. I told you guys I wasn't going to do that, but I watched it today. Today, obviously, being Sunday, the 27th, is it? We have 3 more days in the month before January is gone, 2020. Isn't that amazing? But yeah, so I'm going to try and keep this short and brief. Should Danny Garcia have gotten Ivan Redkach out of there? Absolutely, he should have. Okay, absolutely, he should have. However, his performance was as dominant as you can get if you didn't get the stoppage. I thought that he could have stopped him and got him out of there somewhere between the 6th and the 9th. You know, he was really doing a great job. If he had kept on pressing the issue, he would have got him out of there. But he let his foot off the gas in the 10th, in the 11th. He kind of put his foot back on the gas, some coming down to the end of the 12th. But he did not get him out of there. But this was an interesting fight, nonetheless. A lot of people think it was boring. I didn't think it was boring because, again, I'm more of a technical guy. I'm more of a guy who likes to see guys in control of fights and what they do. And Danny showed me a lot of stuff in there, as usual. And he always gets into proper position to counter you. Not just to counter you, but he also leads off of a proper position. And he sets the bait for you to counter him so he can counter you. So but Danny's a kind of a very interesting puncher. An interesting boxer puncher, and he hits hella hard. He knocked Ivan Redkach all around the ring. He had power that is just ridiculous. He really has a lot of power, but he was very measured. He wasn't malicious and vicious. He was measured in his response. I guess that's what people thought was boring, and the other fact that he didn't get Ivan Redkach out of there. And it wasn't really a firefight. It was more of a pot shot contest. And Ivan learned very early that anything he threw, Danny was gonna make him pay for it. So he became very hesitant to engage Danny, and then he started committing himself to throwing certain punches. He didn't land the punches, but he committed himself to doing that. But it made his punch output drop dramatically because Danny was countering everything he was throwing at him. Now, the most effective punch, in my opinion, off the entire fight that made Danny Garcia very successful in this fight was his rights to the body. He had sweeping rights to the body. He had right uppercuts to the body. He had straight rights to the body. This guy was handling a southpaw, and he was doing the majority of the work. He was the more active fighter. He was doing the majority of the work. His rights to the body couldn't miss, and then he would go into a southpaw position to throw a right hook to the body. And he also had a left hook to the liver as well in the southpaw position. He would shift to go to the southpaw position, go weak side, shift to the southpaw position, boom, up the middle, bam, on the side, you know? It's beautiful. So, I mean, Danny Garcia showing defense, all that kind of stuff. Great pivot work. You know, he has underrated pivot work. His feet, and where he puts his feet, his footwork is exemplary. It's spectacular. It's outstanding. It's, you know, we're talking like Hall of Famer kind of footwork. It's really great. And he's very minimalistic. And he keeps himself measured, composed. He keeps his composure as he fights. It's wonderful to watch. Poetry in motion. He reminds me a little bit of Joe Louis. Joe Louis was a guy, again, wasn't the quickest guy in the world, you know, wasn't the most flamboyant guy in the world, but his footwork was on point. His selection of punches was on point. His defense was on point. And Danny reminds me a bit of Joe Louis. And he does a lot of things that Floyd do. You know, the rights to the pit, the feints, the changing of levels, the bobbing, weaving, all that stuff. You know, he's really, he's not the fastest guy in the world, but yet he's quick. That is to say, there's a difference between speed and quickness. So he's quick, and his counter-punching ability, that's what makes him so. He can throw off a barrage of counter-punches very, very quickly. And he's sneaky. He's deceptive with his speed, and he varies his speed, and all kinds of things he does, okay? Anyway, what can I say about this fight? For the average casual fan who did not see a knockout with Danny Garcia, they would be bored. For the people who like boxing, you would be in awe of what he's doing to this guy, Ivan Redkach. And Ivan Redkach, he's not Kavaliauskas, okay? He's not that dude, okay? He has faced guys like Tevin Farmer. He's faced guys like John Molina. John Molina actually beat him, which is kind of interesting. I didn't believe it. He faced Devin Alexander. Ivan Redkach has faced another known name. I can't remember who it is right now. And he's beaten some good names as well. He beat Devin Alexander, of course, knocking him out. He's a tricky, cagey kind of guy. Tough as nails. He actually bit Danny Garcia. He bit Danny Garcia in the 8th round. Danny was putting it on him, and he bit him. And just so that he didn't want to go nowhere. Okay, he was in the fight. He stayed in the fight. He did very well in the 10th and 11th rounds. Did very well landing that lead left to Danny Garcia's body, because Danny would pull out of range, try to snap back out of range, try to block the punch, but still get hit. So by and large, was it an underwhelming performance for most people? I believe it would be. I think a lot of people, including Danny Garcia, admitted that he should have gotten Ivan Redkach out of there. But he's comfortable with the win, and a very unanimous decision win, so he's cool with that. He said he didn't know why in the 10th, 11th, and 12th rounds he was feeling tired. I'll tell you why. Mentally, Ivan Redkach said he wasn't going nowhere. Danny thought the fight would have ended in 8. And 2, I think that Ivan Redkach's body work was having an effect on him, because Ivan Redkach can hit like a mule. He really hits hard. And I think Danny was kind of underestimating that as well. So I think those two things were factors that caused Danny to kind of disengage in the 10th and 11th. And I think Danny actually said, you know what, I can't get this guy out of there. I'm going to box him. So I think that's what happened. His father wanted him to finish it, get the knockout. Now, what I got to say, the reactions to this fight. Well, Terrence Crawford came in and he had his little input. He said it was a boring fight, which is funny. Sean Porter came back at him and said, you know, well, you struggled against Kavaliauskas. You was getting touched up rather a lot. Danny wasn't getting touched up that much. But I think besides all of that, to and fro between these guys, the thing is, I like that Terrence Crawford responded to Danny, because Danny did not even mention Terrence Crawford in the post-fight. He was talking about Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao with southpaws. But there's also Terrence Crawford. He's a southpaw too. And I'm glad that Terrence Crawford said something so we could remember him. Hey, he's one of the champions too. It's not just Manny Pacquiao or Errol Spence. You can fight Terrence Crawford. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping that people will see, because I want to see Danny Garcia face Terrence Crawford. That's what I want to see. That would be a good fight. A very good fight. And I don't know why both guys don't. Well, Terrence Crawford's acknowledged Danny. Danny's in his mouth. But Danny's not acknowledging him, and I don't think that's fair. I think Danny should acknowledge Terrence Crawford as a champion. You know, as a guy out there, I think he should acknowledge him. Terrence is making some noise to Danny. I know his trainer, Bernie Mac, talk shit and say, who Danny, who? But they know who he is, okay? So, I think that, you know, Danny should face Terrence. Terrence was talking about going up to 154. Danny's looking like he want to go up to 154. So I'm just saying, if these guys might be about the same size, maybe they can even have a fight at 154, whatever. But this is a fight. You know, I can't tell you how much more enthusiastic I would be about seeing Terrence Crawford versus Danny Garcia. I'm telling you why. I'm telling you guys, that's the fight. Danny's never been dropped. Danny's never been stopped. Now Terrence has been dropped, right? But my point being, Terrence is a strong dude too. They both came up from 140. Terrence came up from lightweight. Danny was at lightweight for a certain point in time. Then he came up to super lightweight. But Danny more career super lightweight, right? Terrence is undisputed at super lightweight. Danny was unified at lightweight. They have great, you know, resumes. Terrence is considered pound for pound number 1. And Danny beat all them big names. He just only lost to Keith Thurman, Sean Porter. You know, this is the rivalry you want. Then they faced each other in the amateurs. They got a history, 1-on-1. I would love to see that fight. I would love to see that fight, ladies and gentlemen. That's the fight we need to see. Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford is cool, okay? And while I say I pick Errol Spence to win, and that's a good matchup too, don't get me wrong, Manny Pacquiao versus Terrence Crawford. But if you ask me what fight, because there's history behind them, okay? And Danny has accomplished a lot in boxing, and Terrence Crawford's accomplished a lot in boxing. You know, Dennis Ugas versus Terrence Crawford is great too, but not the same, because Dennis Ugas don't have that success that Danny had. And the fact that Dennis Ugas didn't come up from super lightweight, and they don't have a common history, and they can compare each other with each other. I'm telling you, man, that's the fight you really want to see. You can't get it better than that. Trust me. That's the fight. And I'm guaranteeing you this. That fight is going to be a hell of a fight. I still think Sean Porter beats Terrence Crawford. I still think Errol Spence beats Terrence Crawford. I don't think that's a good matchup for him. Them two guys, okay? The fact that Terrence Crawford ain't even mentioned Sean Porter right now tells you everything you need to know. Danny didn't even mention Sean Porter. Okay, Errol's not mentioning, well, Errol's not mentioning Sean Porter. But my point being, Danny didn't mention Sean Porter. Terrence Crawford didn't mention Sean Porter. Because Sean Porter is not an easy fight for nobody, okay? And he's the guy I pick. If he faced Terrence Crawford, if he faced Danny again, if he faced Errol, I haven't beaten all three. If he faced Pacquiao, I think he's the guy that has the style to beat Pacquiao. I'm just saying. Sean Porter is not no joke. A lot of people think he's a joke. He's not, okay? He's a problem. Okay, maybe he doesn't beat Errol. Maybe he does. I don't know. But my point is, he's a problem. Them guys don't really want to mess with him. Danny could have faced Sean Porter instead of Ivan Redkach, who we all know was a warm fight. All right? Ivan Redkach his game, but he could have gotten still put out of there, I think. So that's what I got on Danny Garcia versus Ivan Redkach. Leave your comments in the comment section below if you disagree with me, if you agree with me. I like Danny Garcia, but as much as I like him, I just thought this fight shouldn't have gone the distance, one. And two, I think that this was not necessarily a fight I was hyped for anyway. So that's just my take on it. You guys can leave your comments in the comment section below. Terrence Crawford's in the mix. Danny's talking. All of them are southpaws, by the way. Terrence Crawford's a southpaw. Manny Pacquiao's a southpaw. Errol Spence is a southpaw. Of course, Terrence could be orthodox if he wants to. All right, guys. I'm going to catch you guys later. Peace. I'm gone.